about Lisa Fitzhugh, who we are facilitator. Sarah? Thank you, Suzanne. Good morning. I met Lisa Fitzhugh about 8 years ago when a mutual friend suggested that I invite her to be our keynote speaker for our annual Arts Education Conference. She agreed, and when we were making the logistic plans, she said to me, hey, I want to come a little earlier, stay a little longer, walk around, see the area, do some hiking, things like that. Well, this was different because most of our Arts Education Conference speakers swoosh in and then swoosh back out. She said, but that's Lisa, full of boundless energy and passion. At that time, it was passion about her newly founded Arts Corps. That was an arts education program for at-risk kids in Seattle. And it was that program that brought us together. And over the next 2 years, Lisa generously shared information with me and helped the Johnson City Area Arts Council initiate what was the best about the Arts Corps program there and bring it to Johnson City, so it became the Johnson City Area Arts Council's Arts Corps. So you gather that Lisa is from Seattle, Washington. She's lived there almost 20 years. She is well regarded there as a change agent, an opinion leader, a dynamic public speaker, and a creative problem solver. She has spent the last 15 years in all aspects of work and life. Her experience working in the public and private sectors has given her keen insights into the interrelationships of all three and areas for the greatest collaborative potential. Today, she is sought after as a creative catalyst and is helping organizations in every sector integrate active creative programs for robust growth and transformation. Lisa brings the creative practice into all areas of her work, including strategic planning design, organizational visioning, communications, advocacy, and strategizing. Lisa also has extensive experience as a motivational speaker and has served as a keynote at many conferences nationally and internationally. As I said, Lisa is the founder and executive director, or was the executive director of the Arts Corps program. It's an award-winning program in Washington State that reaches underserved communities. It became a national model for combining arts education and social change. Lisa was selected as one of Red Book's Mothers and Shapers in 2005. And that award recognizes individuals who created strong grassroots community efforts that have the potential to create national and international models for change. Before starting Arts Corps, Lisa's background was primarily in politics, both on the inside for elected officials and as a consultant. She served as an aide to the mayor of Seattle, Paul Schell, for a while, and the council member Tom Weeks, and Congressman Ben Carter. As a consultant, her clients have included nonprofit organizations, government agencies, and Native American Indian tribes. She has a long history of community activism in the Seattle region. She currently serves on boards of the New School Foundation, the Children's Music Foundation, Alternatives to Violence Project, and Arts Corps Board of Advisors. Last year, she served as chair of a Seattle-based grassroots initiative campaign to put the decision to build a new trail on the ballot. Lisa harkens from the East Coast, which is why I think she has such strong feeling for our mountains of East Tennessee. She grew up in Baltimore and graduated from Duke University with a degree of political science. So please welcome Lisa Fitzhugh.
That was a long introduction, and now I'm going to help you understand that I'm actually a real person with real words and not just ideas. I'm really excited about doing this work with you today. I do a lot of different kinds of things, and doing visioning work with a group of people is the most fun for me. It's kind of like going to Disneyland for the day. And I will say today, you guys, is that we have a big job to do. And I am going to push you a little bit, and it's going to sometimes feel like work, but not the work that you might otherwise have done this morning, Monday morning, that you normally do. It will feel very different, but it will push you in ways to think and imagine and create with the people at your tables and other people in ways that you probably don't do a whole lot. And I think, and that's really good. You're at a critical place here in terms of thinking about the future of this community. And one of the things that I've noticed in talking with Sarah and Suzanne, a number of other folks who are talking about all the different plans that have been created or thought about, or you all are imagining for what you want this redevelopment of Johnson City's downtown to be, is that there has been a lot of stuff that's come out and thought about, and plans and ideas, and there's a bit of inertia around it, I think. And inertia is an energetic force that sometimes can keep things from happening. And sometimes what you need to do is break that inertia by catalyzing it with a different kind of energy, a mobilizing energy, an energy that is about bringing people together and imagining something together. So I think Suzanne and Kate were really thrilled to see that so many people wanted to come today and be part of this. And ultimately, what we're doing is bringing all of our collective visions together to try to decide, or at least to imagine, what it is that an experience, a series of experiences of downtown Johnson City could be, and then for us to sort of set criteria or parameters about what that should look like, so that we're not today going to decide that we should have certain kind of benches in this kind of area and this is where the fountain should go or anything like that. What we're going to walk out of here with is a sort of a guiding principles around what all the planning and design for this next 15 to 20 years really is going to be guided by, defined by, not tightly and restrictively, but supported to say the next design you do that comes at all these stages that will come over the next several years, again adheres to the same criteria. So that's what we're going to try to do today. But the way we're going to do that is that I'm going to sort of get our creativity muscles flexed. Because the reason why Suzanne hired me to come out here is because I made a case for how creativity could really infuse this process. Creativity is the most powerful force in the universe. It's procreation. Creation, we create it, it's powerful, it's part of all of us. So what I want to do is get us to get into that mode today so that we can really create something that feels alive for Johnson City. And so I just want to make a couple requests that I'll make several requests, but this is my first three for the morning. The one thing is I would say, you know all those old tapes that run in our brain about how things should be and who we are? Take those tapes out and just put them aside for a little bit, because those tapes really limit our ability to see the new. So if you can imagine, just take those tapes, whatever they are, they run, and they're running right now. They're all running for me. You know, I hope this works out, blah, blah, blah. Just take them and put them aside. Your focus. I really need everybody's focus. So whatever it is that you imagine focus to look like, if it's a ninja warrior, if it's a Jedi Knight, or however it is, when you know you have to be focused around something, bring that today, because that'll make the whole process actually go really well. The third is have fun. I mean, the point will be that today there is a lot of laughter, and that's ideally when we know we're doing great work. Not so much that it's out of control, because you guys aren't the 13-year-olds that I dealt with last week, 30 of them that I thought I was going to kill myself, but you know, we're adults and we can have fun, we can rein it in, but the idea is to really have fun while we're doing this today. So the first thing I'm going to have you guys do, and I'm not going to tell you why I'm doing this, but I want you to do something that is going to be about bringing our physical energy together in a more cohesive place. So I'm going to have you guys, before you do this, let me tell you what I'm going to have you do. We're going to all stand up. We're going to go back in that empty space, and you, without talking, literally, you cannot open your mouth and talk. You're going to sort yourselves into age groups. And there's 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. There's 6 groups, 70 and above, okay? But you can't talk. And I can give you a couple tips. There's a couple ways to do this. You already know some people in the room who are your same age. So you can maybe kind of congregate with them a little bit. But you can't talk. And what you're going to find is you have to work through nonverbal communication and just by looking at people and seeing how that works, okay? So you're going to do that one first. And then you're going to sort yourselves by tenure in Johnson City. So that's another one. So it's less than 5 years. I'll explain. Less than 5 years, 5 to 10 years, 10 to 15 years, 15 years and above. Now, maybe you've lived other places, come back. It's the cumulative number. But again, what you're going to try to do is self-identify. Because you know people in the room, oh, yeah, we were born here, blah, blah, blah. You can't, but you can't talk. Okay? So that's the first thing we're going to do. So everybody stand up and head back in that empty space.
Where's the 20-year-old?
And remember, it's 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and above. So there's 6 groups. Oh, smarty pants. I can see you doing over here. I want to make sure there's real distinguishable groups, you guys. So cluster together in your group and make sure I can see you separately. So I see a group right here, right? Is this a group? You guys are a cohesive group right in here? This is a group right here? Wow. And are these 2 groups or 1 right in here? This is like 60s, and then what it has. All right, hold on. So this feels right. So you guys, what are you? What is your age group?
We're 30s.
You're 30s. Woo! Is there anybody in this age group who's not in their 30s? No.
We have a small group of
20s, right? Okay, good. Are you it? Are you the lone 20s? Okay, 20s, 30s, 40s. This is the 40s. Okay, is anybody not 40 in this group? No. How about you guys? 50s. Awesome. How about you guys? You guys are 60s? 70 and above? Right on. Wow, that was amazing. Okay. All right. So the next thing is, that was amazing, you guys. I mean, that was easy. I should have given you a much harder thing. So Johnson City tenure, okay? You've been here 5 to 10 years? Or rather, I'm sorry, 5 years or less, okay? That's the first one. 5 to 10 years, 10 to 20 years, 20 years or more. So there's 4 groups, 4 groups. No talking. I see some people still trying to find their groups. Okay, so I have a group over here. I have a very small group here. I have a group here and a group here. This is one group. Wow. Okay, you guys, tell me what you are. Under 5? 5 years or less? Cool. Okay, 5 years or less. 5 to 10 years. Are you guys 5 to 10 years in this group right here? No. Okay, where are you guys? Where are you guys? What's your group? 10 to 15. Oh. So 5 to 10 years. You guys, is that your group right here? Is that it? Is anybody else 5 to 10 years? Ah. Okay. 20 plus. Wow. Oh. 20 plus, that's amazing. Oh, that's great. Okay, it gives me a sense, it gives all of us a sense of some history, some newcomers, somewhere kind of in the middle. What a great blend. All right, back to your seats. I know. So you all, the main purpose of that exercise was essentially for you guys just to feel the group dynamic. I mean, a lot of times we sit down at these charrettes and we sit down and we never we intermingle sometimes or whatever. We just have to kind of get a feel for who we are as a group. We're a group, but we're also a bunch of groups coming together. And that diversity is important and the cohesion is important. So we're recognizing both of those things. So I'm going to take you guys on a little bit of I call it the creativity calisthenics for the next, 45 minutes, and it'll be fun. And what I'm going to try to help you guys do is understand and practice some pieces of what is creativity. And creativity is just this amazing concept that people have been struggling to define and describe and research for a long time. And I'm fascinated by it because of the work I did starting Arts Corps, and as we were trying to showcase for people what it was that we were facilitating with young people, what it looked like, how to know we were doing it, how to enhance it in us. And so there's sort of 5 main kind of stories around creativity that I'm going to take you all through. And some are more complicated than others, but essentially give you the sense. And none of them is exclusively the right answer. Taken together, they are the right answer. So the first piece of creativity that I'm just going to offer, a hypothesis, is that many people would say that creativity, or they would say that, not many people, but there is theory that creativity really comes a lot of times from outside of us. There's this idea of the creative force that comes in, sweeps us off our feet, and moves us in a particular direction. The idea of the muse, right? There's a study by the Rand Corporation that they did this huge study on arts education and the arts. They talked about it. The title was Gifts of the Muse. There's that great writer, Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. Any of you read that? It was a worldwide bestseller, and it was all about her journey from getting out of a divorce and the journey she took around the world. She went first to Italy for 4 months, and then she went to India, and then she went to Bali. Anyway, she was at TED Talks, and she was talking for a while about this story. She interviewed this poet who she adored, and the poet was in her 80s, and she asked her, she said, so tell me about how you got inspiration for writing poetry. And the woman said, God, it started from when I was a really little girl. I'd be out in the fields, working in the fields with my brothers and sisters, and I would feel a poem coming on, and it was like a freight train. And she could hear it. It was like coming from the outside. And she would drop what she was doing and run back to the house as fast as she could so she could get to the desk with her pen and paper so the poem would come through her. So there's this sense in her that that inspiration was coming in, and it came in from the outside. So what I want you guys to do for a second is all of you think about, because what we're going to do is we're going to call in that creative muse for us today. So I want you to think about who in your life has been incredibly inspirational to you. Or a person, it can be someone you know, it can be somebody you don't know. It can be a person, animal, or mineral. It can be a creature, it can be a place. But I want you to think about something in your life that really does pull you, inspire you. Perhaps it is your muse. Think about that for a second, and then I want you to, everyone's got some Post-it notes on the table. Everyone should have a pack of Post-it notes in front of them, little bits of them. Does everybody have that? And everybody have a pencil or a pen? Because if you don't... Oh, they are? Can you break these? Here, break these in half and share them with everybody. In case, can you see these? Okay, does everybody have a Post-it on them? with them. Just write down, if you can, that person, place, or thing, location, whatever, your personal muse, your creative inspiration. You know, it could be your grandmother. It could be your child. It could be a place out in the mountains you go to where you get away. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down. It could be Mother Teresa. It could be, an elected official. It could be anybody. It could be. Okay. Who's got some? Because our job right now is to call them in. So, holler at me. Tell me some of your muses. I'm going to write them up.
Music.
Music. Nature, mountains. Travel. Words.
Emotions.
Anybody got a specific person, an angel, Suzanne?
My aunt,
Can you give me her name?
Annie.
Annie. Calling in Annie.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
Frank Lloyd Wright. Frank.
Grassy Ridge, North Carolina.
Gracie Ridge. Grassy. Okay.
Robert King.
Robert. Sorry, I just heard one. Tell me again.
My granny.
Your granny. Tell me her name.
Granny.
Granny. Okay.
First and last.
My surrogate parent,
Guy.
My surrogate
Okay. Okay.
John Portman.
Hold on just a sec.
John Portman.
John Portland. I'm not going to be able to get everybody's, but here's what I'm going to ask you to do when we take a break after this. In the next 40 minutes, I want everyone to put their Post-it notes on this, okay? This is really important. We are actually calling in the forces of these creative muses for ourselves today because they're going to hold the space for us. I know it sounds kind of woo-woo, but it works. All right, so does anybody else really want one up here in the pink? In the pink, I can do it. Otherwise, we can just put it up later. Okay? All right. So, muses, outside energy that comes in and inspires us to be our best selves. There's another, so a lot of the psychologists, Abraham Maslow, from Carl Rogers, those guys were doing research in the 60s and 70s about creativity. And they had some pretty great stuff to say about what it is. And John McKinnon wrote a book on creativity. And he talked a lot about creativity is essentially courage. But this is a great quote, and I really want to call your attention to it. Don't worry if you can't read it. I'm going to read it out. He says, the most salient mark of a creative person is courage. Not physical courage, but personal or psychological courage. The courage to question what is generally accepted, the courage to be open to experience, the courage to follow one's intuition rather than logic, the courage to imagine the impossible and try to achieve it, the courage to become and be oneself. So, and if you look across a lot of this literature, especially in the psychological field, when they do studies on creative work, it is about courage. It's about stepping beyond the known for yourself and for what you know. So you guys have done a lot of these charrettes, I'm sure, in your lifespan. And I think I want to challenge you to think about what you typically do when you walk into a setting like this. We have those old tapes that say to us that when I'm normally in a place like this, what you normally do. Maybe you don't talk as much. Maybe you're really quiet and you let a lot of other people do the talking. Or maybe you talk a lot and sometimes you maybe dominate the situation. Sometimes you ask all the questions, but you don't necessarily assert your opinion. So I want you to think today about the thing that you normally do in these settings to yourself. And then, again, using that Post-it note, I want you to write down, actually not a Post-it note, pull a piece of paper. There's a big pile of white paper. Just grab one piece, and you're going to write down, I commit to. And you're going to commit to something, to do something, or to be a certain way that you don't normally be. That's not a right way to say it, right? That you don't, how you not are normally in these settings. Write it down, fold it up, put it in your pocket. That's your commitment to yourself. You don't have to tell me or anybody else. But it is something to imagine as a way to step into a more courageous place for being creative. And then when you're done, just look up and I'll. I commit to meet 5 people that I never talk to, because normally I'm pretty shy. I commit to not guffawing when somebody says something ridiculous. All right. You guys set with your commitments? Courageous commitments? Okay. Number 3. Harvard did this amazing study a while ago about breaking creativity down into its separate parts. And they talked a lot about it being about creativity is really about a series of creative habits of mind that are both cognitive and non-cognitive. And so ArtScore really did a lot of work around that, and we sort of culled from that. And I have my favorites that I think really embody the work of a creative person. And they're posted over here and over here. And I am sorry it's so hard to see these things, but you've got a list here, you've got a list there. But I'll just call your attention to some of these, and I want you to think about it as I'm reading through it. So creative habits of mind. Present moment awareness, when you're really right here in the moment. You're not out in here in the future. You're not regretting or thinking about the past. Imagining possibilities. There is a theory that there is an infinite array of possibilities available to us at any given time, and imagining them at the broadest point is really a powerful place to be in creativity. Persistence. You have to persist and have discipline in any creative endeavor. You have to have that ninja focus. Critical thinking or challenging assumptions. Challenging assumptions is big. We walk in with a whole lot of assumptions, and those assumptions become boxes that we can't move out of, and it tends to limit how we're able to see things. Tolerance for ambiguity. You know, how can we trust to step into an unknown place and really tolerate the fact that we don't have a lot of information, but we're going to be okay. Courage and risk-taking, reflection. So all of these are sort of habits of mind that as a creative person you're going to be regularly practicing in your work, and you notice maybe, you know, as you go through your day for the rest of the day, if you're not too tired, when those things start to kick in, when those habits start to get used so that you can do good work. I have ways that I take people through all of those, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pick one. And I want to, because I think for today I really want to emphasize this idea of challenging assumptions. And so I want you guys to just call out to me some assumptions that you walked in here today with. And you might have assumed that, I'm going to be tired at the end of this. It can be anything. I wonder if anything's going to come out of this. I've done these a million times, you know, anything. I want you to collar up for me, okay, what you walked in the room with that was an assumption. And, you know, I don't think I'm going to have anything to say. You know, whatever, not negative or positive. Just throw some out that. It's going to be cold. Okay. Say that again? Can't be creative on Monday morning. These are awesome. Keep going.
Is it going to be a waste of time? I'll say, if y'all are thinking it, I know you are.
Good.
Or will it make a difference? That was my,
Am I gonna?
will it make a difference? Which is perhaps the same as
Is there doubt in here? It sounds like you guys are answering these questions. They're not totally open. There probably is some cynicism, right? Okay, others?
Something's going to be accomplished. Something is going to be accomplished.
Good, okay. That's also an assumption, okay?
We're going to find a new way to look at downtown.
Okay.
Great, another meeting with not enough young people in it.
Okay, anything else?
they all look young to me.
Anything else people are holding on to that's a negative, possibly confining thought? Kate?
You don't like this part, I'm sorry.
It can be positive. It can be positive.
I'm excited about the possibility.
Okay, okay. Any,
If you're not creative now, you probably will never be creative.
if you're not creative now, okay.
Hopefully we can overcome negativity.
Okay.
Are there conflicting agendas in the room?
Can we quit talking about it and do something?
Say that again?
Quit talking about it and do something.
Okay. Okay.
We don't want to be Asheville.
Nice job. We don't
It
want
already
to be
exists.
Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay, pretty good list. A pretty good list, unless I missed, or Green. Sorry. Okay, now, what I'm going to do, and don't see this as a negative or as a, you know, we can't, because there's positive stuff up here. But all the assumptions that we hold, one way or the other, positive or negative, can, in fact, limit us to doing our best work. The negative ones definitely dampen. Positive can too, because then we're not really open to sort of what potentially could be conflict, and conflict is good. Okay, so